In this video, we're going to explore how you can use the for loop in JavaScript. And the for loop is a quite useful tool to have. And the reason why is basically a for loop will keep on repeating something until it hits a certain target or number. And that can be very useful if you want to save some time in rewriting consistently the same piece of code. So let's start and explore this. And this is really a JavaScript tutorial for beginners. And by the way, if you're interested in Chart.JS and you want to learn more about how you can create your charts in Chart.JS, check out my Udemy course in the description box. So let's look at it. So the first thing here, what we're going to do is here, we're going to create a for loop. And a for loop is basically a very simple command with 3 statements. So let's start and create one here. So here we say for, and in this for, this is our command here, and then we're going to put in the statements. And the statements are these. Number 1, this is the starting value. Number 2, this is the condition that we're going to create. So how many times do we need to loop it? How many loops? And number 3, we're going to put in the block of code that we need to loop. So that's the block of code we need to loop until we hit the condition. So let's look at this. And this basically, this looping is also called reiterate. And reiterate basically means repeating something a number of times. So that's basically the official term for it. And looping is as well a term for it, so to loop. So that's why we call this a for loop. So let's start here. The first thing we're going to put in here, we're going to assign a value, a starting value. We say the I equals 0. Once we did that, we complete the first command. So basically now I understand that there's a variable, and this variable is I, and this has a value of 0. So once you did that, the next thing we have to do is now the condition. So what we want to do is, we want to loop it multiple times. Let's say we want to loop it 5 times. So then we say if I, so basically here I is smaller, yes, remember this symbol here is smaller than 5, keep on looping. Then what we're going to do is, we're going to loop. So then we say here I plus plus, and then we loop this. And what we basically are going to do in this loop here is the items here. So in here we're going to say console.log, and then we just say here to return the I value. So once we did this, save this, and let's comment these out, as we don't want to have these here because these are not needed for our situation here. Alright, just cancel this, save this, refresh. Now we open up our developer tab, and you can see now it starts to loop. And it starts at 0, so it's a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 5 is excluded. If we want to add up 5 here, we can say it's this or equal to 5. And once we do that, we have now 5. So we loop 5. However, maybe you say, well, I don't want the 0. Well, that is possible as well, where you can put in here the I. We have this here. I indicate the plus plus, where you can basically add up the value. So what we can do is just simply here add up the 1. Put in 1, and there we are. So that's very simple. So this is nice, and I can imagine, of course, if you have seen my topic about array and how you can calculate the length of an array, this is very interesting. So we can, for example, here, instead of having a fixed value here, we can start putting an array value here. So we say here we have a new array, and let's say this constant is month, and in here, no, that's the right way, and in here we have 4 different months. So let's put in here Jan, February, March, and April. Now once we have these, what we can do now is here we can say copy this month dot length. And what does length really do is it calculates the length of the array. So we can double check that to make sure. We will say here console.log, and then we say month.length. Save that. Refresh, and you can see here our value is 4, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, which is looping through it nicely. And with this, of course, if you know more about arrays, and if you see my other videos about arrays, we can start to put in different values consistently. However, the most important part is basically this understanding here, the starting value, where you can set up 0 or 1, whatever you want. Understanding this part here, the second statement, where we compare the I, or this index number basically, with the length of whatever value is in here. And you can make different statements as well. You can also increase it, only everything that's bigger than. Keep on going until this is bigger than, but this will be an endless loop in this case. So that was not recommended. However, you can change this if the value has a certain reason for that. And same here, every different, and then finally here, this part here, which is the loop, which will keep on looping until, or reiterate until it hits the amount of values here. And that's basically what a for loop is. So if you like videos like this, check out my YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you have any questions regarding to the for loop, post them in the comment section below, and I'll make sure I'll get back to you.